Is this your king? Is Jalen Hurts your king? This is going to be one of those kind of videos. Make sure y'all stay tuned because it's going to be a good episode of the Coliseum Sports Show, where I'll call them as I see them. Yeah. So this episode is going to be all about Jalen Hurts. Because after last night's game, was it Sunday's game, this Sunday's past game against Buffalo, I see a lot of people saying, oh, he's an MVP. Oh, he's a top 5 quarterback. And I'm like, where? Even with my glasses on, I don't see that, baby. And we're going to break that down today. And the most simple thing we're going to start with is his stats. Let's just give a stat line, okay? So through 11 games played, he has 2,697 yards. He averages 7.5 yards a throw. He averages 245 passing yards a game. And he has 18 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Don't forget he's a runner, right? So through those 11 games, he has 410 yards. That's a lot of yards with 11 touchdowns. And he has 3 fumbles. So let's not forget that. So Jalen Hurts, right now, a lot of people say he's an MVP and he's playing better than Dak Prescott. Because, I'm a Dallas fan, so I got to hear these people in Texas talk about how somebody in another state they never even lived in, they don't even come from, is better than Dak Prescott right here in their state. And I'm like, man, y'all out y'all mind. Because to me, and I'm bringing up Dak, it's not just because I'm a fan, it's because that's who's playing like an MVP in my mind. And I'm going to bring up a graphic just to, help inform you guys, okay? So let's just go ahead and look at that graphic. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Let's just bring that up one time. And hopefully I can bring this up on so you guys can see this as well. So, like I said, through 11 games played, Dak Prescott has 70% completion percentage to Jalen Hurts' 67% completion percentage. His passing yards per game for Dak Prescott is 266. The passing for Jalen Hurts is 245. The yards per pass is 7.9 for Dak. As I said before, 7.5 for Hurts. The touchdown to interception ratio is better for Dak. It's 23 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, while Jalen Hurts has 18 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. And their passer rating, Dak Prescott has over 10 points higher than Jalen Hurts with 107 to Jalen Hurts' 94. It's crazy. Dak is killing him in every statistic passing-wise. I don't know what you guys are going to say. You're going to say, oh, man, no. Jalen Hurts is out here and he has 29 total touchdowns. How can you say that Dak Prescott is playing better when he has 29 touchdowns to Dak Prescott's, overall 25? Well, that math is correct. But you got to understand 11, because, he has, He has 18 passing touchdowns, right? And Jalen Hurts has 11 rushing touchdowns to Dak's 2 rushing touchdowns. So let's bring up this other graphic, and hopefully I can bring that up too so you guys can see that, because and I'm making these graphics, by the way. I hope you like them. They're real lovely. But let's bring up this graphic. So through these 11 games, Dak Prescott has 2 rushing touchdowns to Jalen Hurts' 11 rushing touchdowns. And that sounds like a dramatic difference, right? You're like, oh, that kind of makes up for the passing difference, all this other good stuff. Jalen Hurts out here squatting 600 pounds and all this other stuff. Well, Let's look at the yardage of those plays, those running touchdowns that Jalen Hurts is so great at. Well, out of those rushing touchdowns, guess what? The yards that they got from these rushing touchdowns, Dak has 28 rushing yards for his 2 touchdowns. That means, pretty much 14 a pop that he had to rush for to get those touchdowns. Jalen Hurts has 33 yards on all those 11-yard touchdowns, all those 11 touchdowns. So what does that mean? That means that he's on the 1-yard line. How many times? Can you see at the bottom right there? So for 1-yard TD runs, how many is it? He has 8 of those 11s are for 1 yard or less. Wow. That's crazy, right? Dak has 0. So like I said, Dak is actually running for his touchdowns. Not to say Jalen Hurts doesn't have any touchdowns, because you see, he obviously has 3, and last night was one of them, where it was like 12 yards for a rushing touchdown. And I think that's exact, because I remember, I've been doing my homework for this video. This is just for y'all Philly fans. Just for the Philly fans. I just had to do it for y'all, because I love y'all so much. I want y'all to be a part of my fan base. And this ain't no hate. We just got to keep it real. You talking about MVP. Quarterback-wise, Dak Prescott is a better quarterback. He's playing outstanding. He's playing phenomenal football. You cannot deny him. But let's get back on track. So let's go back to about those rushing touchdowns. The thing about those rushing touchdowns and those 1 yard, you say, well, you can't be mad and say that just because they're 1 yard, you can discredit them. You're right. But when you look at these, and let's bring up some graphics. When you look at these touchdowns, these aren't normal quarterback sneaks. These ain't normal QB sneaks. It's not just him getting under center and pushing himself in. I know. He can squat 600 pounds. But when you look at every single one of these, Exhibit A, I'm going to have like 3 of them. So hopefully Exhibit A, he's being pushed by at least 2 other players. And when I watch these plays, you can't tell me, because I watched him play the Dolphins specifically, and he rushed for like 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns that game. And half the time, his feet were not even on the ground. He was being lifted up and pushed into the end zone. So that's more of a team rushing touchdown. So you have to give those touchdowns some context. He's being pushed in there. It's not just him. I understand he's strong. I understand he can squat the whole house. I get it. You bring it up every damn game that he plays in. I get it. I'm not hating on him. I'm not saying he's bad. But what I'm saying is to stop saying that after 1 game, which he didn't even play good in. We're going to go over that too. After 1 game, he's an MVP. That is malarkey. And I'm calling it out. I'm calling it as I see it. And we just giving context. Let's go to Exhibit B. He's being pushed in. All right, you seen that? Let's go to Exhibit C. So as you guys can see, he's being pushed in. It's not just him. I understand he can squat the whole house, but we got to give context to all of this. Speaking of last game and why you guys are all of a sudden calling him an MVP because he has so many touchdowns, what about his turnovers? What about his turnovers? Is anybody talking about that? Is anybody bringing that up? Yeah, I understand he had a bunch of touchdowns. I understand that he pulled out the game in the second half. Nobody's talking about the first half of these games because there's 3 games in a row that this man has been behind. Hold on a second. They somebody trying to play with me. It's 3 games in a row that this man has been behind, you know what I'm saying, at halftime. And last time I checked, MVPs don't get booed by their own crowd going into the halftime. They don't get booed by their own crowd. I haven't even seen that with Dak. As much hate as he gets, I've never seen Dak get booed at halftime. Never. And speaking of halftime, how many points did they have going into that MVP game that Jalen Hurts had? They only had 7 points. That's crazy. Trailing going into halftime. Let's see here. I'm trying to pull this up so we can go ahead and get to the business because it's not only going to be this game. We're going to go over a couple games because we have to. We have to get down to this because this man is throwing a pick or had a fumble in every dang game except for maybe 2. We're going to go down on all of that. We're going to break it down so we can get up out of here because I'm making my point and I'm just going to keep breaking this brother down because what y'all not going to do is after he finally has a decent game in your eyes because he had a bunch of touchdowns, that we're gonna break that down. In my opinion, he did not have a good game. But let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get some understanding around here because we got to. You know what I'm saying? We got to. So Jalen Hurts had 3 passing touchdowns to 1 interception, correct? But he also fumbled the ball. So he had 2 turnovers with those 2 rushing touchdowns. One of those touchdowns came in overtime, which is the 12-yard rushing touchdown that he had. So before then, he had a 1-yard touchdown, you know what I'm saying, QB push up in there. And then the other touchdowns, the 3 that he had came in the second half. I'm not here to blame him and act like the whole game was bad, but whenever you have, and what was it? This brother had, he had a QBR of 54, and he had just over 50% completion for that game. I'm not gonna sit up here and call this man a freaking MVP. That is crazy. 2 turnovers, 50% completion. You only had 200 passing yards. Get out of here. So you mean to tell me because you rushed for 60 yards, that's gonna make up for it? Heck no. You don't want to. You're the reason why they in that predicament. We just gonna forget that? And speaking on luck, honestly, you were down and you were chasing. You only were leading for 1 point in that game. That's the beginning of the game, and it came down to Josh Allen because y'all been lucky, and I'm gonna go over that. Y'all been lucky for these past 3 games in a row. Lucky, yeah, I said it. Lucky. And Jalen Hurts ain't the reason why y'all have come back and did what y'all done. Y'all played some, y'all hung around until somebody made a mistake. And because they weren't explosive enough or because luck wasn't on their side, you was able to pull out the win. But anyway, besides that, if it wasn't for a Josh Allen interception, they were running away with that game as far as in control. Josh Allen looked like a superhuman until he just does what he does, which throw the ball away. But yeah, he only had 200 passing yards, 50% completion, 2 turnovers, and yeah, he had 5 touchdowns, but that is not a good game. That is not enough to cost somebody an MVP, especially when you get booed by your home crowd with only 7 points in the first half going into the half. You got booed by your own crowd. I'm calling you out. Let's go to the next game. We ain't letting up. We ain't letting up. Let's talk about Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? Kansas City, once again, you're going into halftime down. You only scored 7 points in the half. Stop the bull. I'm on your head, bro. You know what I'm saying? 7 to 17. And you're lucky. Once again, this is where luck came in. Travis Kelce dropped the ball in the red zone. You lucky that the wide receiver didn't catch the ball, you know what I'm saying, and the game-winning ball, you know what I'm saying, before the game went out. Because all they had to do was score 1 time, and they would have beat y'all. That's it. And they had it in the paint, but they turned the ball over twice in the red zone. All those drops by those wide receivers. That's luck again. And let's just see how good it. And he got outperformed this game. He got outperformed last game too. He got outperformed by the Bills. He got outperformed the Bills with Josh Allen. He got outperformed with Patrick Mahomes in this game. He didn't play good either, but he played better than you. So this is what it is. Let's see what he did in this game. Just to make it clear, because you did not play good. So Jalen Hurts didn't have a touchdown, but guess what? He did have an interception. That's a turnover again. Did he have any fumbles? Let's check that out. So he did have a fumble, but they recovered it. He recovered it, thank God. But he only had 150 passing yards. Are you kidding me? That's an MVP? That's an MVP? Get out of here. No touchdowns and an interception. 150 yards? Nah, we're going to keep going, baby. Let's keep going. Let's see. Against Dallas, you were outperformed by Dak Prescott. You were outperformed by Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for Luke Schoonmaker, and hopefully I can get that shot right here too. Luke Schoonmaker being tackled before the ball even came to him. That's why he was short of the goal line. He was actually tackled early. So you got lucky in that game with Dak stepping out of bounds. Hopefully I can show that picture too. Dak stepping out. Luke Schoonmaker getting tackled short, which is really pass interference. I mean, hey, dog, you know what I'm saying? Y'all won the game. I can't say too much on that game, but you were outperformed again. You only had 207 yards, two touchdowns. Let's see. Did you have a fumble this game? Oh, guess what? Jalen Hurts had a fumble again. He just recovered it. Good God. So this is one of the games he did not have a turnover. I cannot put that on him, but he was outperformed. Dak Prescott had 374 yards, 3 touchdowns to your 2 touchdowns, and you know what I'm saying? They both had 3 touchdowns. I gave it to him. He had a rushing touchdown too. So 3 touchdowns apiece. You know what I'm saying? I can't get mad at that. But you were still outperformed, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Percentage wise and yards wise, all of that, brother. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is. And let's see here. Let's go to the next game. You know what I'm saying? Even against in Washington. Well, Washington was had that game in hand until they threw an interception. You know what I'm saying? Did he have an interception once again in this game or a fumble? You know what I'm saying? Because this is going to be a thing. He had a fumble again. He had a fumble in this game. And you know what? Now we can get to the part where I really wanted to get to. So you can see that gauntlet that you said was easy for him. You guys are the gauntlet. You guys got lucky in those games. Plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? You were losing. You had to come back, and you had to wait for the other had to wait for the other team to make a mistake. And that's what happened in all of these 3 games, the last 3 games. Every single one of them against the Bills, against KC, against Dallas. It's crazy. And guess what? An MVP, you're not going to have one score game in almost every one of your games except for 2 games. The only games that were not a one-score game was the win against Miami and also the win against Tampa Bay. And it's crazy that your best games come against teams that Dak Prescott, they don't give him no credit for. Your best game was against Washington and and Miami. That was the best game that he has played this year. And best games against Washington and Miami. But all the other games were one-score games. I'm not impressed. One-score games, as I said before, you have 13 turnovers right now. We just had to get to it. In my opinion, he is not a MVP. He has not been playing good. Even the last game was not a good game, in my opinion. It just facts is just facts, all right? And once again, let's just see here. I just got to bring this up for all of his games. He's had an interception in every game except for New England, Washington, both times in Dallas. But he's had an interception in all of those games. And I wish I could see the fumbles that he had in those games. But as I said, his best games were against Washington, period. And lost. Oh, actually, it was the Rams. It's the Rams. It was his best game in Washington. Miami, he did do decent. His completion percentage was up. But he's had an interception in every single game except for Dallas and Washington. I wonder why that is. That is not an MVP, fellas. So that's 3 games. I mean, that's 4 games. So that's 4 games. That is the only games he has not had an interception in. At least one. You know what I'm saying? That is crazy. He's a turnover machine. He's not playing as good as he did last year. Stop saying that he's playing just as good, if not better. He has not been playing good. It just is what it is. He has 18 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. What does that mean? Out of 3 possessions, you know what I'm saying, 2 of them are going to be touchdowns, 1 of them going to be an interception. That's terrible. That's terrible. You know what I'm saying? That's bad, baby. Maybe it's something else, but it looked different, though. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, he has 18 to 10 interceptions, bro. It's not good. You know what I'm saying? And he's projected to have 15 interceptions. That's not good. You know what I'm saying? I think 25 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. That's not good. So I put all that together just to explain to you guys. Stop the cap. We got to stop the cap, bro. I understand that y'all like the Eagles. That is a great team. That's why they're able to hang in there. Because in a lot of these games, guess what they get back to? Running the football. They get back to running the football and doing what they do best. You know what I'm saying? Is running the football. It's not passing the ball. Because when they get up on you, the way that they end up getting back into the game is they creep back in there by running the football. And he ends up completing it'd be like one good pass in the second half to like that they really need. He'll show up when he got to. And that's why I'm not saying he's garbage, but he's not an MVP. There's too many things on here that's pointing to him not being an MVP. Stop the cap. All right? That's all I got to really say about it. Dak for MVP. You got to show the brother some love. You know what I'm saying? He's playing lights out right now. And at the beginning of the season, we weren't even really using Dak like that. It's only been really the last 5 weeks that we've really been turning it on and letting him get the whole playbook. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is. I'm not trying to hate on I'm a hater. You know what I'm saying? I'm a hater. And one thing I will say is it was a whole bunch of ifs, with the last 3 to 4 games. Oh, if this wouldn't have happened, if this wouldn't have happened, you got lucky here. But if was a split, we'd be getting smoked. And right now they are smoking us, you know what I'm saying? As far as winning, you know what I'm saying? They're just figuring out a way to win. That is a team mentality. That's a championship mentality. I cannot be mad at that. They're not champions, but they know how to win. And what can I say about that? But Jalen Hurts is not the best player on his team. You can be hard pressed to say maybe A.J. Brown's the best. The way he was on the tear early this year, you give him a slant and this bro, like people bounce off this man. He's like swole Batman. Like I see it. I didn't believe it till he got there, and he turned up. I'm not mad. I'm not here to hate. I'm not here to hate, but I gotta make sure y'all appreciate what a real quarterback, what a real MVP pace is looking like. Because Dak Prescott is on a pace right now. He's on a tear. Like, and he's going to keep once again. The beginning of the year we weren't even using him. He just now caught up to everybody, and he's going to start pulling away. Like his numbers are going to be nothing. It's going to be way better. That gap is going to get bigger. So that was my breakdown of the day. We just wanted to go over Jalen Hurts, and is that your king? Because if that's what you standing on, he gonna get you in some trouble because it's gonna catch up to you. Every year it's like that. Y'all like to get on. Like I remember when the Dallas Cowboys were doing that. Like, okay, all these close games, it's gonna catch up to you eventually. It's gonna catch up. I mean, you see it every year. You cannot keep winning these close games. And every game, except for once again, let's see, every game has been a one-score game, except for the Miami game and the Rams, yeah, and I think that even still, no, the Rams are still technically a one-score game, ain't it? And no, the Rams. So let's see here. Except for Miami and the Rams, that's it. Every other game in Tampa Bay. So except for 3 games, every game has been a one-score game. They're not juggernauts the way y'all think they are. They just figure out a way to win, and that's a good and a bad thing. But we're going to see what they do against San Francisco. We're going to see what they do in the playoffs. I cannot be mad at them winning right now, but Jalen Hurts is not an MVP, and I rest my case. And I hope y'all see what I see, because this is the Coliseum Sports Show where I call them as I see them. I'm a hater, but today I'm just calling out a player. Take it easy.